might already heard about it thousands of times, but please allow me to do it once more, just to put things in context, and in case that you don't know where Polto comes from and what's the story about. So 6 years ago, during summer of 2017, Rob Heath and I started a POC, a proof of concept, using he built Plone React basically in a summer, correct me if I'm wrong. And it was conceived to demonstrate a full-fledged UI using React. During the winter of 2018, React and using it as a starting point, and then we added Pastanaga UI. And the project was a success, and it was deployed. And from feedback taken from this project, and after several sprints happening that year, we added the customization story, the extension. Just before presented, exploded several train and flexibility of Volto. During next years, and, until it provided full support one-on-one features in Volto 16 with Plone Classic, just in time before Plone 6 was released. Which more or less, see, Volto is built upon these technologies, React technologies, since the beginning. Last week, 16. It continues to be Volto the default UI for Plone 6 and allow us to build projects of all. The internal Volto architecture matches the one that is present or that was present in Plone. Monolithic or all-in-one architecture. The CMS UI, the admin UI, and after that we can customize. Once again, on the top of. So this is the way the clients love and that this monolithic approach. New, which is having Plone UI. How could be otherwise? How could be in another way? It worked well. The clients loved it. The users, the user experience, the developers, integrators. So we made Volto in the image of unlikeness of Plone UI. What else could we do? This is what we sell now, and we do it since 2001, but with a nice modern front end. This is fine, this is good, this is going to be like that because it works, but is that all? So that is the question that I want to put on the table from this story. Can we do best? So can we deliver other types of projects as well, different than the ones that we can make the traditional Plone way? And this is the current offering that we have in Plone CMS today. So we have these two Volto, Classic UI, then Plone the backend, and all the features the monolithic features that we mentioned. So yeah, let's jump to another story. Did you heard about headless CMSs? And when I mean headless, yeah, we already know that we built Volt on the new UI, the coupled UI story in Plone out of the idea of headless CMS. But nowadays, it's been kind of a re-raise of the concept of headless CMSs. Normally, they are all cloud-based SaaS services that startups and other companies have started working on. And a headless CMS basically is a backend application that provides an API to access resources and the content management feature set. They normally do not provide UI at all, so you bring your own UI. This happens with modern CMSs. Some of them, maybe, provide the editing way for adding new content or editing it, but it could be that it's not. And as I said, they are normally cloud-based, have freemium tier, and it's very easy to have your own headless CMS instance for playing with it nowadays. So they provide the means to build a model, add content, the model is your content types, add those content types, editing it, store them, accessing them, and manage them, right? So what's the headless CMS state of the art? These new kids on the block that they appear. So you probably have already known because it's been a while that it's there. Contentful was one of the first ones, but bit by bit appeared more to the list. So we have Storyblock, we have Sanity, we have Strappy, Context Tag, Wix, Headless, a lot of them. So as a curiosity, I wanted to know what they were providing and what they sum up to the headless picture, right? And what's the price also that they are asking? All of them normally are SaaS services in the cloud. They do emphasize a lot in through the web or on the fly adding models of content types. They have good media support and transcoding features, to support images, videos, and things like that, and a myriad of other services around the content. So they try to entice you to use your content management system. Normally, they have poor security integration, right? But it left me with a sour taste in my mouth, right? Because, come on, I mean, so they do some things well, right? But my expectation was that they are not doing that good as Plone could do as a headless CMS, right? So what they do well? So they do, from the integration point of view, of course, is where they excel. So they have clients, libraries, meaning to access the API from everywhere, right? From the marketing point of view, it's also very interesting how they market. So they market things that we have as a feature since 15 years ago, and that's what, so yeah, I will say it, it boils, it makes my blood boils because they sell it as the next great big thing, right? And but it's interesting. So we go there and see how they are selling these, how maximize their strengths, and also from the UX point of view, one that I found interesting, but yeah, again, I didn't quite like the approach, but there were small things that, this is nice. We could adopt it for our the UX in Volta, for example. As I said, there are some of them that provide editing interfaces. One of them is a Storyblock, and they have their points, but I also think that they got several things wrong. But yeah, as I said, it's interesting as an exercise to go there and find out what they are working on and how they sell it. So would Plone qualify as a modern headless CMS? Sincerely, I think so. So Plone CMS feature list is, sorry, not much, no, how it's called? Exactly, thanks. Plone API is outstanding. So we are building nowadays all our projects over it, and it's been improving, and is where we base all the selling points in Plone right now. The content types, we can create and editing through the web, as I said, since how many years ago? 15, I don't know, can say. The security and permission model is unique, I'd say. And this is our strongest selling point and what we can accomplish with it. The workflow model, the sharing model, content rules. Content rules, there's nothing out there like Plone's content rules, and I think this is the most underrated feature that Plone has. The types, the editing of a type or creating a type through the web, we also hide it almost from the UI, from the control panels. I think it's the most important thing, and those guys are selling it as its main editing point. So create a content type through the web. It's so powerful, and I think that we are not really exposing that feature as in the way that should be. Okay, third story, React.js. So how is the state of the art of React.js? We are living another re-release of React.js and whatnot frameworks. Next.js is the one that is kicking nowadays and is where the innovation in the React ecosystem happening. They are driving right now the innovation. Half of or almost all the React team in Facebook are working for them already. I don't know if you know it. React is a library that we use to build UI, so you have to mix and match the builder, the packager, the router, the store facility, the data fetching, and put it all together, right? The scenario right now in the React ecosystem is very different. So frameworks based on React has arisen, the Next.js, Remix, and they are taking it by the storm because they are being very opinionated and they provide powerful build and compilers and strong server-side rendering that are very, very, they have a lot of features and they are very polished and they can do a lot of things out of it. So these companies that are leading these frameworks normally follow the model that WordPress.com is the case of Vercel. It's the creator. So Vercel CEO is the founder of, and the founder of Vercel is the creator of Next.js. And although Next.js is open source, they are driving the implementation and the software through the company. And nowadays, Vercel is the current deployment mongers in the React community. Yeah, and in the meanwhile, other things arise. So we have Astro, which can do React, but can do also other things. We have Svelte Kit, Solid, and Quick. They all providing this new approach of having a strong framework, very opinionated, providing a server-side rendering server that are very strong, very in features, and providing a lot of features. Then we have new React things, because of course the React ecosystem is ever-changing. And so, yeah, we have the new React buzzwords. So we have React Server Components, which Next.js is pushing the community to use. React Server Actions, which is also kind of quite a mind-blowing feature. I won't enter on that. But basically, you expose something that happens in the server directly from server code into the client code. You don't have to do anything. It just works. Then the Next.js app router, and combined with the above, is what the community now is going on. Then islands, code isolation, concurrent mode, which still haven't landed in React, but hopefully at some point It will, and this is something that is very important for us because it will allow us to do easily more other things that we have to do right away using hacks and things like that. React Forget, which is also the new React compiler that they are working since I don't know when, but hopefully at some point they will release it. And then Vercel, this is the last edition that I put last week because I thought that it's very eye-opening. I mean, it's very in an initial phase, but they show that they can do the same thing, that you can, the Vercel's v0.def, so what they do is the ChatGPT for creating components. So you conversationally can create a component in this v0.def. And every time that you change, it creates a new version, and then at the end, they provide the code that you can just drop it in your project, which is, yeah, kind of impressive if finally they are able to ship it. Then last story is Volto. So last year I wanted to start a research. So, and I think I already mentioned it in my talk last year, but I wanted to know the answer to a question. So what makes Volto Volto, right? So if we had to rebuild Volto from scratch, which features we will pick and preserve, right? Also, if we have to split Volto in pieces and build it against somewhere else, what will be the features that I will split, I will grab, I will pick, right? First is the add-ons architecture, then follow it by the configuration and component registry, then component shadowing, because it's essential right now to the Volto, to the extensibility story. The seamless mode and internal proxy also is very useful for while developing. Then the theming, data fetching, routing, server-side rendering, and at the end, Pastanaga editor, which is where the editing, blocks editing is happening. Because we had this community feedback, why I was having or doing myself these questions is that we have this feedback from people asking, okay, can I use the editor outside Volto? And this is back from lots of years ago that Rico-Pekka and Asko came and asked me that because they had Gatsby sites and they needed to fill out those sites, Gatsby over Plone, I mean. And they were asking, okay, can we extract the functionality and put it somewhere else so I can edit my content in my headless CMS Plone that I have here, which is loading these pages that Gatsby are rendering, right? And the answer was, no, sorry, no, right? Or, well, it's complicated, right? Or, yes, but with drawbacks. Same for the others. So can I use Volto components in my existing React app? No, because the Volto components are tied to Redux, or unless you build also a full Redux infrastructure that uses the same shape that the Volto is having, you can't extract those add-ons, right? One of another request was Johannes, I don't know if he's here, coming to me and say, okay, we could grab the contents component, the folder contents component in Volto and added it to Plone Classic. And I said, yes, but again, it's complicated. You have to replicate the Redux store. You have to do the right calls, to put the API middleware for making those requests, grabbing those requests, loading the Redux store with them, and then the component, the contents component will then load whatever. And we had kind of POC. We gathered together one day and we made it work, but it was so complex that finally it didn't happen. But it's a reality. So a mockup in Plone Classic could load components for for React, because at the end, I don't know if you know it, but the folder components in mockup is based in React, a very old version of React, I think. I don't know if that situation improved. Sorry if, but I don't have that information now, but maybe I'm wrong with that. But it's using React already to render. So yeah, we could do that at some point. And the other, one of the other question is, could we use any other design system other than that semantic UI in my project? And again, the answer is yeah, but it's complicated. Yeah, Piero told it before in the talk before. We have to deal with semantic UI, we want it or not, because we built the whole world around it. And it's very difficult to, right now, to go back and remove it, because everything will be unstyled, and then the semantic React components will not have the right styling. We will have to rewrite all the styles on the top. So yeah, you can do that, but it's complicated. Right? So yeah, after all these stories, we have these questions that arise in the middle. So there are threats or there are opportunities. Is the current Plone architecture not flexible? Could Plone qualify as a modern headless CMS? Could we make Volto more resilient to the crazy JS ecosystem pace? And in summary, could we do better and prepare for the future while maintaining stability? I don't say that we have to change anything. So I mean, and I want to make this clear now. I mean, the situation that we have today with Plone today is stable. People, and will continue to be stable, but we have to plan ahead a little bit and think in 2 or 3 years for what's going to happen and the direction that we should follow. So here's the Plone's world domination plan as a headless CMS. Right? So let me show you, and let's start this plot conspiration time. So yeah, first thing that we could do is break free from the current boundaries that we have. As I said, we build Volto the only way we know, as a monolith in the front end, and rendering and displaying content as an end up a powerful CMS UI and CMS rendering product, right? And it is super powerful. The current stacks do not have that. They do not have matching what you get, the rendering part, with the editor parts. And this is unique. We could be the only ones that we are doing. So this WYSIWYG approach, right? And as I said, it's very powerful, but could be that not all projects can benefit from it, or not all projects need it, right? But now we are tied to this monolithic approach. Remember the question, can we extract the editor from Volto? No, you can't, right? And this forced us to build our projects in a very specific way, the classic way, the Volto way. And the question is, can we break free from the current boundaries, right? So we can do some things or do some projects in another way than the traditional Plone way. Okay. So right now we have this choice. We have to choose we have to choose between the classic UI and the Volto UI, these verticals, and these are the boundaries, right? So either you go one way or you go to the other. One could say, yeah, maybe I have a project that I'm using both. Yeah, you could, why not? But always between these boundaries, right? And you're constrained to them, and you have to abide with the choices that we made, right? Either in Volto or in classic UI, right? So you have to use all the technologies that are in there. So you cannot move much from them. And how about if Plone will be able to adapt to the project instead of the other way around? I mean, and I will leave this question or this statement in the air, right? So why we can broaden the Plone offering to also match other types of projects, not only falling into these two categories, or these two UI. So again, so we have these core features again, and the idea is, could we extract them and make them reusable? All of them. Not all of them, but maybe some of them, the more essential ones, the add-ons configuration, all what I said before. And the thing is that we have already started working in some of them. And the first of all, that is the one that is more advanced, is the Plone client, which we had a GSOC project this year that I mentored. It was done by Eman Chaudhry. It's released, it's in alpha stage. It's based on TAN-stack query, which at the same time is an agnostic library. So it has the React flavor, it has the Angular flavor, the Vue flavor, and other flavors as well. So by using the artifacts of TAN-stack query, you can use it no matter which framework or platform are you using. And it's also made in TypeScript, so all the types permeate through the code. So it's also a very interesting story. What will Plone client allow? For example, the contents component. What if we make this contents component and we use Plone client? So we remove Redux from it, and we made it use Plone client. So Plone client can be used also in mockup because it's JavaScript. It's agnostic, and then we will be able to load the contents component in mockup freely and very easy, right? So that's the idea, right? And so many other things, because this open a huge umbrella of things that you can do from now on. So if we have this unified way to access Plone from the outside, from the JavaScript world, then we can have a plethora of new integrations that we can build and use. So, oops. So following are the registries and the add-ons architecture. And this one I found also very interesting because it's a feature that is it's the core of Volta, I will say, in the extensibility story. We could extract it, and in fact is doable. There's a POC in this PR in Volta where it shows it works already in Next.js. And what will allow it? It will allow multi-framework add-ons. So we can build now Volta add-ons, but Volta add-ons, as you know, rely a lot on the registries and the add-on architecture. But what if we could make add-ons that are hybrid and works in Volta, works in Next.js, works in Remix seamlessly, thanks that we have the registries and add-ons architecture everywhere. So yeah, I find it very, very interesting and worth to explore. And yeah, and it will also be built in TypeScript, so we will also have type support everywhere. Then the components, because what's the next piece? So once you have the client, you have the add-ons and the registries, then you want to tackle the components, right? So we will want to have a library of components that will allow you to build CMS UIs outside of Volta, outside of Plone, in any platform, in any, well, not in any framework or platform, but this first iteration will be only React. But one could think about, no, I will make this at Plone components Angular, Plone components Vue, or whatever, or Svelte, right? But the idea is to go first with React, which is what we have now. There's a POC. It's in very early stages, but also getting there as building blocks and everything. We'll have also TypeScript support. And the idea is that these components are not tied to anything, not tied to any framework CSS. And they will be wide-level components, thanks that we will be using headless, what now it's called a headless CSS framework, which the best position that it's now is React Area Components. I don't know if you heard about it, but it's one of these headless CSS frameworks that provides wide-level components where you can bring your own CSS to them or use other stuff, like, for example, Tailwind on them. So if you want to have your project made with Tailwind, you could even style it with Tailwind. Yet another piece. And the last piece is theming, right? We have this, we want to change the theming architecture since a long time ago because of what I said before. So semantic UI, you have to abide with it. We have to cope with it, and we have to use it. And you cannot entirely remove it because all the CMS UI is relying on it. So the idea is to have this new theming story also extracted from Volto at the beginning, then create this at Plone Quanta that will have the new theming. Again, there is a POC, also very early stages, just trying out things and experimenting. It will try to be modular, get what you need, compatible with Plone components, of course, because the aim will be that these will theme Plone components, the wide level with Quanta, but you can bring your own thing afterwards, right? And it will be CSS-based. So we have these four things, okay? This is all the pieces of the puzzle that we will want initially to have and to experiment with them outside Volto to complement, to have this headless CMS experience, right? So we will end up with this landscape, right? So the Plone offering, 2024. I put a year on here. Could be that happens, it doesn't happen next year, but I'm confident that we could do that, right? So we will have these four pieces here added, summing up to the today's picture, which is classic UI Volto, but having also these ones that complement the picture where we can use Plone as a headless CMS anywhere else, right? And Next.js, in Remix, in Svelte, in whatever, name your framework of like. And this is only the beginnings, right? And it's the flexibility at its max. On the website, we could also have other, or think about other pieces. So maybe someone could come up with some Android or iOS client, right? So it allowed us to make applications, mobile applications, using the Plone client for mobile, right? And yeah, as I said, this is only the beginning, but it is possible because we really have, and I think we really do have, a Plone headless CMS on our hands. Right? So what will be the stack then? So this will be the stack. So we will have Quanta, then the components, then the client, then Volto, then querying our headless Plone CMS. And then in Next.js, the same. And in the X framework, whatever, we will also have the same, right? What's the strategic roadmap for that? So the strategic roadmap is that, as I said, Plone client is in alpha stages. You can try it out today. There's documentation. It's not perfect. I mean, contributions are welcome. Probably I'll be working on documentation for Volto and for the client during the sprint. So if you want to join me, you're welcome on that. Plone components, early stages, same as Plone Quanta. Probably it will happen through next year. We will continue working and talking about them during next year. And as I said before, the number 3 is time to excel in our strengths. I told you these headless CMS are selling the through the web editing of the models of the content types like it was crazy, like it was the next, the awesome next big thing of the world, right? Why not to boost that in Plone UI or Volto UI itself, right? So, no, if you want a new content type, you can go here and build it, right? Or even, I don't know, marketing it a little bit more. The content rules, again. We can also improve the UX for the content rules, which is also a little bit a thing that I think that we need to take care of, right? Why don't we sell the content rules more vehemently, right? And of course, the security we already do, but maybe we're not doing that in the right way, in the right direction. I mean, this is the distinctive ways that the things that make us different from the existing headless CMS, right? And finally, the CMS UI. So the CMS UI is what it's about our business. So it's the UX, how our editors add the content to our site. We have to give it the proper treatment, and we have to polish it. We have to make it happen. And it's one of the most important parts of Plone, not only the rendering, right? So how about if we have yet another piece at some point that is the Plone editor, where we extract that editor, like Asko and Kupega came one day and asked for it, and we can put it elsewhere, out of Volto, as a standalone app. What if we can have that in an Electron app in my machine? What holds us back from that, right? Editing from my machine, what's wrong with that? Nothing, right? What holds us to do that? I told Philip several years ago again about something like the contents folder. So the contents component, the contents application, right? When you get folder contents. What holds us back to create an Electron app for managing the content in our site, as it was a browser from an Electron app from our computer? Nothing. We only have to grab and start coding, right? So it's that idea that we can break the current constraints. The editing could happen outside the web. Yes, it could, depending on the project, of course. And lastly, the final bonus, the bonus content, one thing more. Then we have to put it all together. We will be able, once we have all these pieces, to put it all together and make Plone 7 or the, I don't know, Plone 8, Plone 9, when it's ready, right, to reintegrate all those parts back into Volto, if that's what we want or that's what we feel that we could do in order to continue the evolution, right? Then there is a last question I want to leave in the air. Then will it be Volto? Yeah, as a Star Trek nerd, right? So I always think in the transporters. When you transport someone from one side to another, the one that gets transported is the same person as before. There are a lot of episodes in Star Trek that plays with that idea, right? So if we break down Volto in all pieces, then we build it back again. It will be Volto again, or it will be another thing. Yeah, we will have to find out. So that's it. Yeah, thanks for attending.
So instead of breaking every apart, why not instead just add a side-by-side preview like a lot of those other SaaS editors? So keep Volto as it is, except you have a side-by-side preview and you're just rendering whatever, you know, framework renders that. That's another way of doing headless, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted only to put on the table the idea. Then what we do from them, from that idea, is up to us, right? I mean, the sky is the limit. So, and the main idea I wanted to put on the table is why why hold us from break the boundaries of Volta and go elsewhere, right? And do another thing outside of that, using Plone as a headless CMS. So yeah, I mean, as I said, what holds us back to do what you're saying? Nothing. We only have to code, right? Or the folder contents outside, or in my machine, in an Electron app. What holds us? We have a great Plone REST API. We can do that, right? Yeah.
I just want to say that I'm really looking forward for these new developments and getting the chance, for example, to really use Volta components in the classic stack, for example, as you mentioned, mockup and so. Yeah, and join forces again a bit more. And yeah, I think the future looks bright from this perspective. Thank you for that.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Victor.
Thanks to you.